Yo, what's up? What's up? This is Antonio Knox, and welcome to the Gradient Radio. It's no longer the podcast; it's the radio right now. And we have an extraordinary guest today, a legend in the making,
Thank you.
Jake Parramena. What's up, man? How are
It's
you?
good, bro.
Did I
Nice
say
to-
did I say the name
Yeah.
correctly?
Yeah, you got it.
Word. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm living. I'm excited. I got a lot to say.
That's great. That's great, man. I'm glad you're living. I'm glad you're here today.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Absolutely, man. So we just kind of gonna get straight into it.
Let's do it.
So tell the people about yourself. Tell the people who you are, where you started.
For sure. I actually tweeted about it today. I'm Jacob Parramena. I'm a only child. I come from a Costa Rican mom and a Venezuelan dad. I'm a first-generation Latino American. I started a creative label called Kidz At when I was 18 years old, and now I'm 20 years old. I'm 2 years in, and I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of success, and there's a lot left more. But I'm a talent manager, creative director, and I'm a kid. I love to say that, and I'm just a kid from Richmond, Virginia. Make that be known. Yeah.
Word, man. There's so many people out there who want to do so many different things.
For sure.
And it seems like you are doing the things that you wanted to do, that you set out to do. How did you get to that point?
Growing up, I always had. I went to a predominantly white school, and so I was just kind of like always just that one brown kid, in class. And I always just I felt more driven than the peers around me. Even just in school, in middle school, in high school, I was just like I'm sitting next to these guys, and I just feel like I know a lot more than them when we're in the same class, whatever. And it literally just went into like going to college. I was just sitting in the classroom, and I would be like, I just feel like I have more to give than these people around me, and the people I surround myself with, people my peers, my business partners, my friends, they just all support me in whatever I do. So it's like that's pretty much why I decided that I just want to do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the main reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's power. And, you having the awareness of like
Sure.
everything that's going on and feeling as if like you had more to give. So when you came to this conclusion of wanting to do more, wanting to live out the dreams that you have for
Yeah.
yourself, what were the steps that you took to getting to where you are currently?
For sure. I kind of was. I don't like to say I was lucky because I'm not. I definitely work hard, and I think there's a fine line between being blessed and being lucky. I like to say I was blessed in like my. There's different ways you can be blessed. I was blessed with personality traits that I feel like I have a good work ethic. I feel like I can do anything. I can get anything done. So I've taken that my whole life and just being like, I have a good work ethic. If I work hard enough doing this, I can do it. And to this day, I've achieved everything that I've kind of said that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you before we got on air, I was thinking yesterday in the shower, or no, Friday, I was like, I want to be on a podcast. I feel like I have a lot to say. Like I feel it. I was watching my friend's podcast, and I was like, I just feel like I need to. This day after that, Antonio Knox hits me on DM. Is like, hey, yo, you trying to be on my podcast? I was like, dang, yo, that's dope. So now we're here. Anyways, I got sidetracked. But, yeah, like I work hard in what I do, and it's like, I just, like my mentor says it to me, and he, Amir Abbasi, shout out to you, blame the label. That's my guy, big brother. He tells me he just wants to touch people. He makes sure, like, when you're in the room with, like, when you're not in the room and there's people talking about you, they only have good things to say about you.
Yeah.
So I stand by that. Like, I want that to be who I am. So that's something that's very important to me.
Yeah. You spoke a little bit about just manifestation. Do you truly believe in the power of like the things that you say that you want to do?
Yes, and that's not always been the case. I grew up like I've been saying that a lot. I grew up, but
Yeah.
I'm still young. I grew up means like 5 years ago I was 15.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was never like a writer. I was never like writing down my goals. I was never like I always had them in my head, and it was just kind of like in the air, but I knew it was there.
Yeah.
But once I kind of got more organized in my life, I matured a little bit. And around the top of the year, actually, was like top of 2021 was when I started really writing down, like manifesting things and like looking at numbers and like really being like self-aware of like, wow, I really said that and I did that. And then on to the next one, and then I'll write more. And then it's like, I'm getting to the point where I'm writing things that are like 20 years from now, and I'm like, yo, one day if I do this, I'll be like, wow, damn, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
But I have goals that I want to do next week and that I'll write down. I'll have goals that I want to do in 10 years. You know, I have endless things, you know, and I want to write more. I feel like I'm doing it at a slow pace right now, just of where I'm at in my life.
Yeah.
But eventually, like, I want to write 3 times a day, you know, wake up, write down things. Like, I've noticed that seeing my thoughts on a piece of paper, and then like a week later or a month later, 2 months later, I'm reading that thought and I'm like, damn, that's where my head was at. And then I can like, it's like I'm growing, I'm evolving to like a better version of myself every time I read what I used to think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's kind of like interesting that you spoke about that, because my guy, he kind of like hit on that.
Oh, really?
When we did this interview about like writing things down
Yeah.
to be able to see your thoughts and so many other
I think
things
it's
as
extremely
well.
important, bro.
Yeah. It's truly important. I just finished reading this book that kind of like spoke about that too.
Yeah.
Just to kind of essentially what you said, right? Like to be able to see your thoughts, to be able to see like where you've come from, the things you've overcome, the things you've overcome, and the things that you want to be able to see, or the things that you want to accomplish over time. And you know, just
it's like your own history book, dude. It's
exactly
like writing your own textbook, like in class, like that thick ass book of what America used to go through. It's like you can do that with yourself, with what you've accomplished in life.
Yes.
And like if you ever need to go study chapter 3, you go and you look at it and you're like, okay, this is what I was thinking, this is what my mind was at. Let me take that and like build on a new mindset or build on a new goal or whatever it may be that people do. I know everybody writes differently, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's different. Everyone do things differently.
Yeah.
So absolutely. You know, you spoke about some of the things that you wrote, from the things that you've accomplished or you wanted to accomplish at the top of the year. What is one of those things that you accomplished this year?
Dang. Personal stuff, I'll probably keep to myself just because out of respect for myself.
Yes.
But career-wise, like I'm open. Like at the top of the year, I wrote down that I wanted Smyth to get signed, and we went through a label deal. We went through the whole thing, and it just fell through. And it was like, dang, we were this close, but we didn't sign. And it ended up being like a huge thing that we didn't sign because it was like
a blessing, right?
A blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a taste of the industry. It was like, okay, this is what they can do for you.
Yeah.
But I don't want. We got it ourselves. And now, like at this very moment, like October 2021 is now when it's like, okay, it's starting to pay off that we didn't take that step. Another goal would probably be like fashion. I've always wanted to be into fashion. You know, like I wear crop tops, I paint my nails. Like that's the thing. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. You know, I'm very confident in myself, my physical appearance.
Yeah.
So it's like I always had that thought that I wanted to like make clothes or make an accessory or something like that. So it took like for me to get effed over actually this summer when I was collabing with somebody. I won't say his name out of respect for him, but it took me getting like really disrespected in kind of like in my first entrance into like this fashion stuff, and I was like, wow, I can really just do this by myself. And so that's when I started making like upcycle bags, tote bags.
Yeah.
I put the Kidz At play tag on it, the mission statement on it, and I was like, shoot, I made 20 of them. I took them to the flea market, the Diamond Flea Market, and I sold out in like 20 minutes. So I was like, dang, bro, I really did this by myself. I cut, sew them. I learned how to sew. My mom knew how to sew since she was like 12 years old, so she like gave me some tips.
Wow.
And then I sold out, and I was like, damn, bro, I could really do this.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typically, what happens is something happens in a person's career that is at least favoring to them that makes them want to overcome that obstacle. Yeah. So that's what happens. Like you felt as if like that guy totally disrespected you and your perspective at that time, and you was like, I'm gonna just do it myself.
Yep.
I'm gonna just do it myself.
Yep.
And typically that's what happens. Like the people who succeed are the ones who feel as if they can do it themselves.
For sure.
After, you know.
Yep. Bro, yep. My mentor has a quote. He says, I tweeted this the other day. He said, my worst experiences are actually my best experiences.
Yeah, it's a lesson.
And they're blessings.
Yeah.
You learn the most from your worst experiences. If you look back on your life, it's like the ones that are kind of engraved in you are the worst ones.
Yeah.
And like that's what you take most from. You know,
Yeah.
I stand by that quote too.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
also Amir Abbasi. You know, he's the man.
That's fire, bro. That's fire. You spoke about this guy called Smyth.
Yeah.
Formerly Smyth Knight.
It's formerly Smyth Knight.
Formerly
Yeah. Now
Smyth
just Smyth all caps.
Yes. So for the people who don't know who Smyth is, could you kind of give a little background?
For sure. First, I'm gonna say that's my brother. Before anything, before any business, before anything, that man is my friend, best friend, brother, family, all that comes before, you know, working with somebody.
That's real.
He's an artist. He's a musician. I don't like to say a rapper anymore. He's not. He doesn't rap. I'm letting that be known now. You know, that man is more than just bars. But he's a musician. He's an actor. He's a model. He writes. He's a songwriter. He's a filmmaker. He's everything. I met him when I was 15. I met him when I was 17. He was 16. And I can go into the story of how I met him.
Absolutely, bro, if you want to.
So I had a girlfriend in high school, and she had a friend, right? And my girlfriend came up to me and said, hey, let's go on a double date with one of my old friends. So I was like, okay, word, let's go. So we go on a double date. We show up to this pizza spot, and we're just sitting outside. I'm waiting for the double date, the other couple.
Yeah.
They pull up, and it's this kid. I'm not gonna say his legal name because he don't like when I say his legal name. But I'm gonna say Smyth for this situation. So it's Smyth and his girl at the time. We go on this double date. Yada yada. I compliment his jacket because he was wearing like a crazy colorful jacket. Like that's the thing. Instantly when I saw him, he didn't care about what other people thought because he was wearing some exotic like crazy things. And I always admired that with people. I always could notice that if I'm walking on the street and I see somebody wearing some crazy things, I'm like, yo, that's amazing. Like that's confidence in itself. You just wearing that, you know, you don't care. I'm wearing a crop top right now. I don't mind. So anyways, I saw his jacket, I complimented it or whatever, and he's a very shy person when you first meet him. He's very closed. So he gave me just like the thanks, bro. Yeah, you go, whatever. And then we walked to the thrift store after. He was in the corner of the thrift store, like with his phone going like this. He was like listening to something, and I walked up to him. I was like, yo, what is that? What are you listening to, bro? And he was like, you good, bro? I make music. I was like, where? Let me hear the music, bro. And he said, he was like, nah, you'll hear it when it come out, bro. You'll hear it when it come out. I was like low key disrespecting him at the time. I was like, yo, dang, you being a little rude.
Yeah.
But I ended up listening to it. It came out like a couple days after. So I grabbed his SoundCloud link, and we went to different high schools. So without him knowing, I fell in love with the song, and it was just some SoundCloud rap shit, and I was sending it to all of my homies in school, in high school, and all my homies were like, dang, this kid's actually good, and I was just sending it, and pretty much doing my job right now that without knowing at a very like smaller level.
Yeah.
The whole soccer team, we'd go to our soccer games, and everybody would be bumping Smyth Knight, and it'd be like, dang, this kid's crazy. And eventually I saw Smyth again at a birthday party and stuff. And that's when I went up to him. I told him, I said, yo, I've been sending your track to my friends, and they fuck with it. They love you, bro. So he's like, yo, thanks, bro. And then that's when we became close friends.
Yeah.
We went to prom together, went to all these things together. And it wasn't until January 1st, 2020, when I was like, yo, I want to help you, you know, with your career. I want to help you do this because I believe in you. That's the thing. I've never not believed in any of the artists I've worked with. Yeah. That's Smyth, Quincy X, and Marquise Flower. And Orange Ice, the band I manage, Earth Tone, the DJ that I book and manage, everybody. So
yeah,
that's that story. It's crazy.
It seems like the managing came natural for you.
I think so, bro. I think it was just out of a favor, and I ended up going to like his shows, every single show. Like I miss this past April 2021 was the first show I missed since 2018,
Wow.
and it was because I was in Costa Rica. I was with my family.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Family,
it was like crazy circumstances. You know, I couldn't be there physically.
Yeah, for sure.
But I have never missed a show or anything. And the first 20, 30 shows, I was just his friend. I was just pulling up and was like, yo, I fuck with your music, bro. And like, I'm here to support you. And it ended up being just became my best friend before anything. So,
Yeah.
That's what everybody in my team.
Yeah.
Mm.
It seems like you didn't foresee this happening for you.
No, man.
It just was something that like you just started to do things and it became like what it became.
Yeah, I just kind of fell into it, and like I said, I was always in school. Like I knew I wanted to start a business because my dad engraved that into my head. My Latino dad's like, you got to start a business. You got to start a business. I didn't know what the hell it was.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to go to college and high school. I was on track, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So it wasn't until after my first semester of college where I was like, I'm gonna start this Kidz At Play, a creative label with everybody else, as in 8 of us.
Yeah. I got a team. Yeah, I got a fire team from like
Sure,
everything
everybody's
I've
full
seen.
time too. Yeah,
Wow, everybody.
everybody.
So I just create music.
Create
just
create
create-
fashion, film, and music, bro. It's like anything. Like these guys are just the most talented people in the world. For me, at least.
Absolutely.
I believe in them. They believe in me. So like, it's just been. I can't be down on myself because I have 8 dudes to just be like, yo, you got it. Like you can do this. Like, and it's all mutual. You know, Noah, NHP, like that man has showed me. Like his story is crazy with his dad being born with no arms or no legs.
Wow.
And like
Wow.
getting through, like that's one of my mentors as well. He got through his life. You know, everybody doubted him.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't think he could have kids, drive a car, start a business, be successful. Now look at him. He has 2 kids, has a successful brand, has sponsored deals here and there. You know, he does everything. He drives. I went to Detroit and I was driving with him. He has no arms or legs. He's just driving with his he has a modified car.
For sure. Yeah.
For him.
Yeah.
But that man is special, and that like you can't like you can just imagine how much empathy Noah has from growing up with his dad being like that. You know.
Absolutely.
That man cannot hate on anything. He can't complain about shit in his life.
Nah.
Nothing.
Nah.
So it's like I learned a lot from Noah and then his dad as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's just a crazy story in itself.
Nah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I was about to ask you like, how does he drive? And then you kind of like mentioned it a little bit.
Yeah.
So like that was kind of interesting.
He actually, I think, if I'm not wrong, he had to design his own way of himself drive. His pedals. He designed his own pedals.
Yeah.
And he had to pay up front for his modifications before he could go to the driver's test.
Okay.
So he couldn't even get a driver's test without paying $50,000 for his own pedals.
Wow.
You know?
Did you
Crazy.
ask him what made him do that? What made him go after that?
I think I've probably asked him that, but I think his answer is like he has a common answer. It's like they told me I couldn't. Like that's as simple as that, bro.
Yeah, you see that, yeah.
They told me I couldn't.
Yeah.
They told me I couldn't have a family. Like,
Yeah.
One story he tells is when he was born, the doctors took him away from his mom and said, "Hey, your son was born with no arms or legs. It's okay if you don't want him." And you imagine a mom like, no, like that's my kid.
That's your baby, yeah.
Yeah, and ever since then he's fought. He's beat all odds.
Wow. Yeah.
So that only like I put that into my life where I'm like I can't complain as well.
Yeah.
You know, I have the best mentors ever, and they give me the best game there is, and I just go about my life just being self-aware and knowing what's up.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a crazy story. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's I would have never imagined, a story coming out of this experience right now. And I'm sure there'll be people out there who are listening to this
For sure.
who will gain some type of empathy from
Yeah,
like, hearing
sure.
a story such
Yeah.
as that.
Being inspired, man. I just want to like touching people and getting like to their soft spot and really inspiring people is very important to us as a collective. We don't like to cause problems. We just want to create and work with people and have fun.
Yes.
we 50% of the time we're just joking and making stupid mom jokes and just being kids. Like I'm 20 years old at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be in college.
Yeah.
I could have no hate to fraternities or anything, but I could be in a frat.
Yeah.
I could be one of those dudes.
I mean, it's kind of like y'all in the frat, almost relatively, right?
Kinda, yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't want to live with all these dudes though, bro. God damn. Earth Tone, man, shout out to you, bro. I love you, but man, I could not live with him, man.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you need your own space.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm an only child, so I grew up and I didn't share shit.
Hey, man, I'm the only child too,
So
so
you know,
I
dude.
get it, bro.
You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't share shit. And
Yeah.
like game consoles and stuff, like I can't get home and my friend on a game console and it's mine. Like, nah, that's mine, bro. I play when I want to play.
Exactly. You know what they call that? They call that only child syndrome.
Yeah, and they know that. They know that. When I get in like a weird mood and grumpy,
yeah.
they're like, "Oh yeah, James just gotta be by himself right now, bro. You let him alone for a couple of hours. He'll be straight."
So so how is that with managing, this collective, Kids At Play?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you touch on that? Because with you being the only child, and you managing like this group of like talented individuals.
Yeah, for sure.
How is that?
With specifically, I manage Kids At Play as a company, but I'm like right now I'm mainly focused as like talent management for Smyth.
Yes.
And Quincy has his own other manager.
Gotcha.
And Marquise also has his own. I side manage Marquise, but Smyth is the one I like full time.
Gotcha.
And with him specifically, I think it's a different situation where we're more business partners than like you've talked to him. He's just he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Some artists need labels. Some artists can stay independent. Some artists need managers to be on top of them.
Yeah.
Some artists don't. In this situation, we're always bouncing off each other. So we're more just like creative buddies. It's like he comes up with an idea, I help him. I have an idea, he helps me, and we just bounce off. I know I'm an only child. I like to think about myself before I think about other people, but
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, I've always had the trait where I would sacrifice a lot, for the people I love.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to do the most, to stretch for my people,
Yeah. I mean, that's good. So y'all did come up with like Kids At Play though, right?
That's Smyth. So Smyth made that name, I think, in 8th grade, which is crazy, man. He was 13 years old when he said that name for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. But it was him and Earth Tone for like the first 5 years.
Gotcha.
It's been ongoing for a long time.
So they've been keeping it going for
They've been keeping it going, yeah. And then I came through, and then it got really like a lot more serious.
Okay.
Not that to say they weren't working, but they did the groundwork. They got it off the ground.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't till like I got here, and I started helping where we really like did this shit. Cause like not to say I needed them and they needed me.
Yeah.
So we got together.
Oh, absolutely.
And we made this shit what it is today.
It was mutual beneficial.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah. So what is the philosophy behind Kids At Play?
I love this question because it's been hours and hours and hours of conversations within ourselves to get to the point, like to get where we're at. I wish I had my bag on me that I could just read the mission statement, but I should have that memorized. Yeah. But Kids At Play is a creative label, and the main focus, how I explain it is this. You walk around anywhere you go in the world. Kids, like children, are the most curious people on the planet. Like, no matter what, you go outside, sit down right now and watch a kid. He'll be curious about every single detail there is, about a toy, about a leaf on the ground, about a stick, about rocks, about this and that. Like, I always hear parents saying, "Oh, I should have just got my kid rocks because he doesn't play with his toys."
Yeah.
But that's because he's curious about everything that he's around. And so our goal as a creative label is to keep that curiosity going.
Yes.
To whatever age you are. And it took us a long time to get to that point because we had to do it and then have people that were older than us say that to our face and say, "Wow, y'all really like make me feel like a kid." So once I got that first initial like, "You make me feel like a kid," I was like, "Wow, dude, this is it. This is what we're here for." Like, we're just young kids trying to make other people feel like kids. At the end of the day, it's that simple. And when you're a kid, you're curious about everything.
Yeah.
If you think about this glass and you're more curious about it and you think deeper on just this glass, the opportunities are endless of what you can do, you know, whether it comes to you're a filmmaker, different angles on the glass, whether it's you rapping in different bars on this glass. Like, just thinking deeper on everything in your life and just being like self-aware. Also being vulnerable with the people around you, with people that you surround yourself with. I was just watching an interview on Scooter Braun, Justin Bieber's manager and the really successful guy. Yeah. And he had said, we have a false narrative where we, as young creatives, as the one that hasn't broke through yet, that we're waiting for a hand from above to come down and bring us up. And like, he said that's false, because you go up to any executive that's like 40 years old and you're like, hey yo, can you do this and that for me? He's gonna be like, this is all Scooter Braun's words. He's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna hit up my homie. I've been friends with him for 10, 30 years. So with all that being said, the power base are the people around you, it's the people you come up with. Yeah. And I'm quoting all Scooter Braun, those are his words. Sure. Yeah. But that really stuck with me because that's very true. Yeah. You know, I'm not expecting some higher up to come down and be like, here's a $100 record deal, or here's a recording deal or licensing deal, publishing deal, like all these deals, whatever. I'm not waiting for that, you know. I'm gonna work towards that, and it's gonna come when it comes. But the people around me is what we come up together, yo. Absolutely. It's like, especially what we're doing, it's like we want to stay as independent as possible, you know. We do everything we do is in house. So yeah, no, you could definitely see that with the amount of work that you put out, all of you have put out, and it's individually like, too. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You definitely see it with the consistency at the same time too. Yeah. It seems like, you know, you have like an ideation process. Yeah, think about the ideas, and then you was like, yo, how can we like execute it? How can we go deeper? We say that all the time, bro. Yeah. We say, let's take that idea and throw that shit away. Let's think deeper on this. Yeah. That commercial, I don't know if this commercial we put out, the Kidz At creative label, first commercial. Which is fire. It's 2 minutes long. And when I tell you, it was a month and a half of preparation for a 2-minute video. Wow. Just writing the script, writing the screenplay, like just everything. Like the narration is word for word, like hours. Each word is hours of just thinking. And ever since we released that, I think there's been a switch. Like people started to take us more serious. Yeah, nah, it's fire. I think the first time you released it, I was like, yo, like this is crazy. Yeah. And I hit you up about it. I was like, this on fire, bro. Yeah, like sure. Super fire. It gave me like, I don't want to say it gave me chills, but it made me feel like, yo, like there are people out there who are like going for it. People who, I mean, younger than me. He called me old. I'm not that old. I'm still young, but like you can be a kid, bro. That's why I'm here. Exactly. To make you feel like a kid. Exactly, bro. Exactly, bro. Like that curiosity is like a huge thing. And the podcast before this, we was kind of like talking about curiosity and imagination, and how people over time tend to lose that. And I remember as a kid, I'm initially from New York, and I was just like curious about like every single thing. And I was just like, look here, look there, because it's just like the curiosity was there, like within me. And I still believe I have that because of all of the disciplines that I've kind of like gone down 100%. And just the things I kind of like implemented in my life. I'm still naturally curious. So that's incredible that, you know, the brand or the agency is just kind of like that's what it's breathing. Yeah, that exactly. Curiosity and making sure like people stay curious, whatever they want to go through. That's incredible. So I'm kind of curious. You know, you spoke a little bit about like the painted nails, the crop tees. It's like you said, like it's y'all do this because like y'all don't give a fuck, or you don't give a fuck. Like kind of like speak more to that. I think it's an ongoing process. As an individual, or whoever you are, me personally, I always want to challenge my ears, challenge my eyes, and challenge my identity. That's a quote that I kind of stick with. That's the quote I wrote. And just with that, I want to grow as a person all the time. You know, I want to try new things. I want to wear the new thing, because if I don't, then I don't know how it is. You can literally put this in any situation of your life. If you want to go start a podcast, just you gonna want to do it and then figure it out, and you're gonna you know, it could go wrong, it could go right, you know, you don't know exactly. But I with physical appearance, like I just want to grow, and like I do think about where I want to be in like 3, 4, 5 years. like how I want to look and everything.
Yeah.
And it's just a process. You got to trust the process. You know, I'm not gonna pierce and put tattoos all over myself right now because I just feel like I'm not at that point in my life, financially too. It's like tattoos are expensive.
Yeah.
But right now it's like I try things just so I can like say I did it, but then I mature while I'm doing it. You know.
Yeah.
I'm all about like doing things so intentionally where it's like it helps me become a better version of myself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Earlier you spoke about your dad telling you to start a business.
Yeah.
Like, did he forecast when he said start a business? Do you think he forecasted like this kind of business?
No, but a thing my dad has always said to me was construction is always going to be outside. Like, when no matter what, someone is going to need their roof painted or their crib done, their bathroom redone. Someone's going to need it 24/7 for the rest of your life. So why not go outside of the normality of what I'm supposed to do as a Latino, what I'm supposed to do? Because I could tell you there's 100 kids my age that are just working on job sites all week, making $2,000 a week. They're making bread, but they're sacrificing their hands and their body and their physical, like, just physical being. And eventually that goes into, like, health problems and all that shit, like, later in life. But with all that being said, like, I want to let it be known that, like, yeah, I'm brown, I'm Latino, and my dad said to start a business, but I always respected my dad because he never said a specific thing. He never said, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I've always respected that. I didn't even grow up with my dad, too.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of respect. Like, I want to be like my dad, and I saw him every other weekend growing up.
Yeah, so you grew up with your mother?
I grew up with my mother and then a stepdad. And that's a whole situation that I just, like, a lot of personal stuff happened with stepdads and all that.
Yeah.
But as just my dad individually, like, he let it be known that I could just do whatever I want, you know.
Yeah.
And he supports me, you know. He really understands what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. That's great to be able to have that support.
For sure. I think it's extremely important.
Yeah. And no, it's really important, you know, just growing up. I've always had the support of people.
Yeah.
And I've always had the support of my mother.
For sure.
And so just seeing the parallels between having the support and not having the support is huge.
Yeah.
Because you can have an idea, you can have, you know, these dreams, these visions for your life, but if you don't have the support behind you, then in most cases it won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I've seen that with, like, my peers. It's like I've had that support. Like I said, I've had that support, and I've had that backing by people, and I've been able to propel myself to many directions.
For sure.
But, like, when I see my other peers and they don't have that support, it's like they don't necessarily go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so to be able to have that from your father, and I believe from, like, your mother at the same time,
sure.
too.
Yeah, in different ways.
Yeah.
In different ways.
Exactly. To be able to have that, too, it's like it's a game changer.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a game changer. And I you know, I believe you did that for, like, Smyth, right? Like, because you felt as if, like when you heard his music and you started to share with, like, other people, that was that support for him for him to continue going forward.
Yeah.
You believe that you are, would you say you still are in that role of supporting him?
Of course. I don't think that ever is going to end.
Yeah.
In supporting him, I think there's a difference between supporting his music and supporting him as who he is as a person.
Yeah.
Because I'm there when that dude got a bad day, you know? When any of us has a bad day, I'm there to be like, hey, yo, what's up? What's wrong with you? Or, like, I'm there to say good morning. Like, I'm not gonna text him, hey, yo, we gotta do this and that for the label, for this and that, you know, Instagram or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna hit you on that. I think I support my crew and my closest people around me as more just humans. I think we should all do that, you know? Yeah. I personally hate when someone hits me up, and it's been happening a lot recently, like, check my music out, but they start the conversation with, yo. They tell me, yo. Or, like, they trying to, like, open for Orange Ice, or they're trying to get a show or trying to get a T-shirt or something. They say, yo.
Yeah.
Yo, how much for a T? I'm like, dog, why are you doing that? Why can't you just say, hey, bro, how are you? Here's my name. You don't even have to say what you do. You just say, how are you? Good morning. I want a T-shirt, bro. How much for a T-shirt? When can we do that or whatever? Whatever it may be. But it's as simple as just being just kind and being like, that goes with the same thing with, you want people to talk good about you when you're not in the room. It's like that one good morning when you text somebody is important. Like, they will never talk bad about you because you were always kind. You always say, how are you, before you even start talking about business.
Exactly.
That's how I like to do.
Exactly.
And I'm still working on it. Of course, I'm not perfect. I'm not out here saying, how are you? Like, how's your mental health to everybody I'm talked to? But I want to get to that point where I'm like, I'm a friend to people before any like business, anything.
Exactly. You know, I kind of want to wrap it up by asking like 2 more questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 8 years, and where do you see, like, this is one question. Where do you see yourself the next 3 to 8 years, and where do you see, you know, the collective and, you know, the things that you are doing?
Okay. So for myself first, for myself, I see myself branching off to a lot of different types of creativeness, whether it be writing TV shows or definitely like working hand in hand with artists. Like, I want to sign a pop artist one day. I've been saying that recently. I love pop music, like Ariana Grande. Yeah, I'm bumping that shit all the time.
Yeah, she nice.
And like, I wanna sign a pop artist one day. I wanna sign like a punk rap band or something. Like, I like to just do stuff out the box, whatever. As a person, as an individual, bro, I just want people to talk good about me. I want to inspire people. I want to inspire young kids, especially Latino kids, like Latino American kids. I want to let it be known that, like, you don't have to like work in a construction site for your whole life to like do something cool. Like, you can actually do something what you like and be successful on it. I know it sounds cliche, but you know, I'm with that.
Cliches are real for a reason.
Yeah, for sure. As a collective, as a brand, I'm not set. I know, like, we've been talking about this whole time, is evolving, growing, like becoming a better version of yourself. Kidz At Play in itself is, I see it as a person. Like, it's another person that I work with. You know, it's a brand, and its brand has its own, you know, personality.
Yeah.
I think the brand has to grow and evolve and get to a point where it's like, even if you have to move on from something and go to something better or where you think is better, where at your point in your career, I'm up to doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not set on, like, anyone that says they're gonna do this one thing or one company for the rest of their career.
Yeah.
I think you got it wrong.
Nah.
I think that's not how you do things. I think you evolve. So if Kidz At Play is the reason why all my peers get to where they want and where their goals are,
yeah,
and Kidz At Play was the reason they did it, I'm completely okay with that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm completely fine with that. And then that'll branch off to other projects and things, like if we want to stay together or whatever. Because I know we grow as businessmen, as entrepreneurs, as creatives,
as people.
We're gonna grow into our own thing.
Absolutely.
I look a lot at Odd Future, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I grew up watching them. I wasn't a fan of them, but I grew up watching them.
Yeah.
And now to see like Frank Ocean starting his own luxury jewelry brand,
yeah.
Homer,
yeah.
Tyler doing his own thing, of course. Earl Sweatshirt owning the underground scene.
Yeah.
Like, they're all in their own thing, and Odd Future was their like group that put them in that position to get that.
Exactly.
And what we're trying to do, a creative label, is a little different than just having a bunch of people that make music.
Yeah.
We're trying to kind of like go around the industry standard, where if you're an author and you're creative, or I mean, if you're an author, you are creative.
Yeah.
We want to kind of like not sign, but we want to make it. We want you to be proud of like an organization or of a company that like kind of not owns you, but like supports you, or you're signed to, or you have contracts with. You don't hear a comedian go up on stage and be like, shout out my agency for booking this show. Like, you don't see that, you know, you don't see that.
Yeah.
We've been talking about like, we would love for a comedian to go up there and be like, Kidz At Play, you know, a creative label. That's who I rep. That's what I do. An author goes on tour for a book, and it's Kidz At Play on the front on the front cover of the flyer or whatever. You know, it's like Kidz At Play is a whole. It's an endless pool of creativity. You know, you can do whatever with it. And I know we're not gonna be kids forever. I'm not gonna be 20 forever. You know, the name is gonna like its age is with us.
Yeah.
So
I was definitely curious about that too.
Whenever we get to that point,
Yeah.
that we feel like we need to mature and whatever it may be, grow, evolve, it will, and it'll become something with the same. You know, obviously the curiosity and the imagination is never gonna end.
Absolutely.
Like that mission is never gonna end.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to changing a name or anything like that. Like I want to let that be known. I'm not stuck. You know, I'm not. This is not the only thing I have for myself.
Got to be flexible.
Flexible, of course. That's how you grow. You know, you bend and you don't break.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Definitely be flexible. You'll learn it as you get older, go through experiences. For sure. Two things are constant: change and people passing. That's constant. These are things that are always are going to happen. So we like to leave people with a word of wisdom, word of knowledge. Think of things that you could probably, like gems that you could drop for people to kind of like take away with.
For sure. Like I said before, my main one right now is challenge your ears, challenge your eyes, and challenge your identity. Whatever that means for you, do you. But that's one thing that I've been kind of going about. And also living experiences. You know, I have the tuition for the school of experience. I think that's what it's called. Tuition for the school of experience, which means that I absorb and I put myself in situations to just experience as much as possible and as much as possible and as much as possible to gain, like we were talking about earlier, to gain just knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think it counts as tuition. That's what makes me that's what validates me as a creative, as a businessman.
Yeah.
I think just experiencing everything, even if you have to go fucking work as a dishwasher for a week and a half, like you learn from that experience. You learn how to work with a team. You know how to work with a boss. I worked as a barista for 3 years. I wouldn't know how to count money if I didn't work there. I wouldn't know how to do customer service or how to de-escalate a angry white man telling me to give him his coffee faster or some shit.
Yeah.
I learned all that. So it's like when I'm put in that situation now in music, it rarely happens, or actually it happens a lot. You're dealing with drunk people and like shows and shit like that. It's like I could get mad and punch this drunk dude in the face and get and escalate the situation, but instead, I think about the brand, I think about the company more, and I'm like, okay, let's just take this dude out and tell him to don't come back.
Yeah.
Or whatever it may be, but that's just an example.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Thank you for all the gems that you dropped today.
Sure.
It was a blessing to be able to hear. I'm sure we could have been talking for like another 2 more hours.
We'll be back, bro.
Yeah,
we'll be back.
It's definitely going to be another part to this, but this was an extraordinary talk just to be able to hear the process, thinking of your process, seeing who you were. Obviously, we had talks like before this.
Sure.
But it seems like we were able to get much more deeper in the process of
100%.
like your creative process and seeing like who you were, who you are as a creative, and type of things that you want to do going forward. Thank you, Jacob, for being a part of this.
Thank you.
This was another great episode for the Gradient Radio. Thank you for everyone who took the time to listen to this, to watch this.
Yes, sir. Stay curious.
Yes, stay curious. That's fire. That's a great way to end it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, bro.
No problem.